G'day viewers, get yourself a cuppa. Because it's time for the Train Sim World 3 Roadmap December update. Now I'll skip over the TLDR bit because we're going to go through the whole thing. So what's on the roadmap? Well, we've got our usual games releases. We've got a US route, a US loco, a route enhancement pack for the US. So that's new to this roadmap. And the Holiday Express is new. There's another little article about that on my channel already. UK route by Rivet. There's a new route expansion pack for the UK being developed by Rivet. There's a German route being developed by TSG. And we've got electric multiple unit. Hupstreck Munchen Augsburg delivered by TSG. That's the DBBR 420. Special Projects team. Class 20 livery designer. HST livery designer. DBBR 187 audio improvements. Remaining preservation crew releases, and core features, the add-ons manager, which was previously known as the PS5 DLC limit fix, derailing improvements, harsh braking derailments, coupling derailments, red light dispatcher improvements, save game improvements route by route, and performance optimization. So let's get into the actual roadmap. And I just got to warn you that this one's full of, well, you'll get it. Ho, ho, ho. Sounds like a street corner in a busy city. Welcome to December's roadmap, just as Santa is preparing his goodies for all the good boys and girls, maybe a few naughty ones. So have we added a couple of presents to the list? We've checked it twice. They're both on the nice list in the form of 2 expansion packs, which will be making their way to you in the new year. More to come on those in the coming roadmaps. Speaking of stocking fillers, we have a festive surprise coming for you next week. We're beside our elves with anticipation for the all-new Holiday Express Runaway Elf announced earlier today. In this month's roadmap, we talk about how some of the unique features of this smaller-than-life route might help our route building in the future. Bunstreck Bremen Oldenburg released earlier this week. Yay, and wagons. And we have details on a post-release patch that you might have already downloaded below. As well as this, we have news on the add-ons manager, dispatcher Pathfinder improvements, the latest patch notes, our trip to Wally in November, and more. And finally, before we get into the nitty-gritty, a little challenge for you all. Can you see how many terrible festive puns JD Santa has hidden in the roadmap? You'll be sorry if you missed any. Answers at the bottom. I'm tipping it's not that hard given they're in different colour text. This is our final roadmap of 2022, with the first roadmap of the new year on Thursday, January 12th, so that just leaves us to say that we hope you all have a wonderful festive period with your loved ones, and we'll be back with our 3,000 plus word essays in 2023. Not having all this text is surely a cause for celebration at least. Train Sim World 3 core improvements. A progress summary on the core improvements the teams are working on. This month we have updates on add-ons manager, red lights, dispatcher improvements, next week's patch update, and more. Add-ons manager. Testing has started on the TSW3 version of the add-ons manager. We want to get it into your hands as quickly as we can, but also as safely as we can. This connects with the entire back-end infrastructure of loading add-ons, so we have to ensure the disruption to your play is minimal when it launches. It has taken longer than we would have wanted, and this is due to a number of factors. We're now happy with the system in place in TSW2's version, and that infrastructure has been used to build the TSW3 version. The team remain committed to getting into your hands as soon as we can, as we know PS5 players are playing add-on Tetris at the moment and aren't able to get the full experience we want you to have. It's also worth bearing in mind that these changes will also likely have a small positive impact on crashing and performance, particularly with the Gen 8 consoles with lots of add-ons installed. At this stage, we are prioritising the most impacted players, which is PS5 players, and want to get the system out to them first. We won't provide a release date though until testing is completed, but we're on the final stages towards getting it into your hands. That's good news for PS5 people. Red lights and dispatcher improvements. We've been working on the core technology around our dispatcher and focusing on the pathfinding our AI trains do, particularly when in mid-service upon loading into a route. We found that in some instances the AI trains took an unexpected path, which caused various issues including pile-ups, phantom red lights, etc. In positive news though, we believe we have a fix for this issue which is ready to go into testing. This should, when released, resolve a lot of instances of red lights in the game blocking player progress. The exception to this fix is American routes, which have a slightly different issue, perhaps best illustrated in the Harlem line due to its increased timetable. This issue stems from multiple trains starting their service in the same signal session, meaning some end up out of order and causing issues. This improvement is currently being investigated. Now, might add, these things really only affect people that play service to service to service to service without leaving the game. If you leave the game and you choose another service in the menu, they tend not to bother you at all. You don't really notice them. But if you're doing a full shift and going from one train to another, yeah, that's when you start to see them. But wait, here's more. Here's a quick selection of some of the larger patch notes we've released in the past month, so if you don't miss them, we've also included some you can expect from our final update of the year. Micro stuttering improvements. DB doppelstock lights will no longer massively impact performance. Initial lag when loading into a route and rotating the camera removed. Save game is now enabled by default. Series of post-released Birmingham Cross City improvements. Players can use similar non-accented characters to search for accented characters. Sorry. That should be accented characters. He's written that wrong. Sort mode preferences are preserved between play sessions. Small performance improvements during rain. Make it rain, dear. Oh dear. One idea? No idea. Improvements to trains and carriages popping in on consoles. Bremen-Oldenburg post-release improvements. More details below, and improvements to the add-ons manager. Highlights of yesterday's patch notes. This is principally for Bremen-Oldenburg. We've released a series of post-release Bremen-Oldenburg improvements yesterday, initially on Steam, with other platforms coming over the course of this week. Here's a quick summary of some of the highlights. Rain will no longer fall through the roof at Bremen HBF. You know, I'd never actually noticed it did. There you go. Improved lighting visuals inside Oldenburg Station, remove light leaking, and improve performance. So they've done a new light pack, basically. Improved collision and visuals inside Woosting Station. The BRO BR425 has had physics improvements. Marker and tail light should now function as intended. The light colour is being looked at. Corrected the CFA indicator light to only be illuminated when CFA is disabled or the warning state is active. The BRO DBBR110.3 fixed PZB restrictive mode indicators not flashing properly. Added functionality to blowers, MCB and overload. Fixed HUD TE gauges. Fixed MCB pop-off not being audible in cab. And fixed sounds for brake issues. Hopefully they fixed the horn too, because they're running into real channel limits on this one, because they can only run 16 sounds at the same time. And it's got a lot of sounds, that one. The BRO BR155 accelerometer is no longer inverted in the rear cab. Yay. LZB will now work in the rear cab. PZB direction does not change unless the reverser direction is changed. This should prevent issues where using the rear cab and applying brakes makes PZB think you are reversing. Is that what was doing that? PZB start program will now correctly flash both 70 and 85 lights on the desk, alternating between them. The brake release key will now function correctly. General N-Wagon improvements. Fixed the HUD readouts for train brake and e-brake levers. Added functionality for additional indicators, blowers and MCB. PIS improvements, not in service, will only appear when actually not in service, showing correct timetable in route menu when a route has multiple timetables available. The only thing that they didn't fix in the N-Wagon cab car, which I'm a little bit sad about, is most of the lights on the dash don't actually show when you're in bright daylight. They get overpowered. They do work because you can see them when it's in a storm conditions or at night time, but you can't see them during the day, which is a bit sad. And I asked about that, and that one has not been fixed. Quick note on some areas of the roadmap. We don't have a substantial update for you this time around, but wanted to provide a quick summary as to where we are in development. Here are some quick fire bullets below. The Class 20 livery designer compatibility development is complete and awaiting a testing window. HST livery designer compatibility development complete, awaiting a window for testing. Expected release after the Class 20. Spirit of Steam physics improvements. Expect to launch these in January. Spirit of Steam AI SPADs. These are currently being investigated. We believe we know the source of the issue. Incompletable achievements, still under investigation. Performance improvements, continued incremental improvements coming in patches. See the patch notes section. Derailing improvements. for the second of 3 improvements that focuses on harsh braking is currently development complete and awaiting testing. The third improvement, related to couplers, will be reviewed after the second is out. TSW3 preservation crew releases in a queue for an appropriate build. Special projects team update. The team have been hard at work building the Holiday Express Runaway Elf release, as well as making some festive mastery touches to the training centre, available after completing tasks within the add-on. But as mentioned in a previous section of the livery design and compatibility for the Class 20 and HST are what we call dev complete and awaiting their first part from the QA team. You know, I kind of think the Holiday Express, they probably should have put it in a room in the training centre. That would have been fun. Going up and down the stairs maybe. Anyway, things. The team has also investigated what is involved in upgrading some Train Sim World compatible routes with Train Sim World 3 features, primarily lighting and skies. We'll have more to share in the next roadmap. Third-party developer partner program update. The only partner program addition to the roadmap this month is a new expansion pack for a UK route, also being developed by our friends at Rivet Games. We expect this to release soon after their route, also currently on the roadmap. Keep your eyes peeled later this month for an update, so another December update maybe. With the Train Sim Germany team supporting the release of Bremen-Oldenburg and working on their first standalone route for TSW3, progress on the 420 has stalled, and we thank them for their ongoing support as we look to continue upgrade the quality of our new German routes. Everything else is as you were. The teams are getting their heads down, and we have more information we'll let you know. This is all about building the Holiday Express and their thing at the train show. I think I'll make a separate video on this later on because it's not roadmap stuff. It's interesting, but it's not roadmap stuff. Anyway, that's it for the roadmap for December 2022. So, see you later. Subscribe if you care to, and if you found this useful, give it a thumbs up. Alrighty, bye now.